Next, Bert Newton counts down 20 to 1 celebrity scandals. Then a close encounter of the dead kind on CSI. And later, an all-new The Closer, tonight on 9.
This program brought to you by Optus. Life's simpler with Optus 3G.
Yeah.
The following program is classified PG. The 9 Network recommends parental guidance for young viewers. It contains sexual references, some coarse language, adult themes, and drug references.
Tonight, we're counting down 20 celebrity scandals.
She cannot handle the fame.
From outrageous antics
Ew.
Get real.
Phew, it knocked me for a loop.
to shocking slip-ups.
Did not surprise me one iota.
I'm not a gold digger.
That makes me want to projectile vomit.
We've got disgraceful behaviour.
Did he do it or did he not do it? What on earth is happening?
We've lost a penis somewhere.
That is a little bit sick and twisted.
And shameful admissions.
I have sinned.
People's conversations shouldn't be taped. God, I'm glad someone taped that.
I sat there with my mouth open.
Good evening and welcome to 20 to 1 Celebrity Scandals. Now, when trouble hits celebrities, the celebrities hit the headlines, and we love it. Who got caught doing what, where, and with whom? And we start tonight's countdown with a story that had tongues wagging all over the world.
Oh, make me over.
At number 20, it's the Playboy bunny in the headlights, Anna Nicole Smith, and the court battle for her geriatric billionaire playmate's fortune.
She actually struck us all, I think, on watching her on TV as the kind of person who would take a guy to the cleaners on his deathbed. So, what do we expect, you know?
I want money.
J. Howard Marshall was an oil tycoon who'd amassed a fortune of $1.6 billion in crude and married someone of similar background, former stripper Anna Nicole.
She marries an 89-year-old, wheelchair-bound billionaire and wonders why people call her a gold digger.
I'm not a gold digger. I could have married him a week after we met. I didn't.
Oh, it was all for love. I'm sure that she loved him so much.
Some girls, they know what they want and they know what they have to do to get it, and she knew what she had to do to get it, and she did it.
Marshall resting in his wheelchair poolside, sipping champagne, being delighted just to ogle Anna Nicole as she frolics naked in the pool, eating fruit.
Anna Nicole's naked ambition to inherit her husband's wealth led her to tape his final wishes. But her in-laws were ready to fight her for the family fortune.
Wasn't she a lucky girl? Wasn't she a clever girl? You know, the family that are contesting the will, they're nuts. They should have given her $100 million and said bye-bye, Anna. Instead, everybody's in court, and I think she'll win because she did have the ring on the finger.
Once we're married, you know, half of everything is mine.
I don't believe most beautiful young women marry old rich men for any reason but to get their money ultimately. And, you know, I guess if you put up with a rich old man, you've got to get something back.
She put out. She deserves payment.
She's certainly become extraordinarily famous for someone with no identifiable talent whatsoever. You've got to give her some credit for that.
Even today, Anna Nicole's life, loves and losses continue to make headlines. Well, we don't need an autopsy to work out what killed J. Howard Marshall. At number 19, it's the pop diva who's famous for her scandalous behaviour, Madonna.
What are you going to do now? What are you going to do after the show?
Did you know that it's good if you pee in the shower?
Most talk show guests bring a movie clip to plug or a CD to push. When Madonna went on David Letterman's show, she brought her underwear.
What brings
Wait a minute, aren't you going to smell them? I don't know where Madonna's reality begins and ends, you know, without taking anything away from her fabulous career, where she would go onto a television show and ask someone to smell her underpants.
That's not where they go.
No, believe me, that's where the underwear goes.
You just asked them to smell your undies. Ew.
From here, things went south quickly when Madonna decided to turn the air blue by deliberately breaking the golden television rule.
Okay, good.
You are always me on the show. You are always me on the show. You are always with me on the show.
Madonna is not a class act, but she couldn't care less. For her, it's all about the fame, it's all about pushing the boundaries, and she achieved that.
There seems to be a lot of confusion right now.
Yeah, guess why?
Is it because I've been saying
You know, it was an extended fart joke. It was beneath her. She literally said the F word a dozen times in an interview, knowing full well you can't get it on television.
You know, she might have had a record out that wasn't doing so well, so it's like, okay, how can I get people talking about me? I know, I'll go on Letterman and say 13 times.
people don't want to hear the word.
Oh, stop it! Will you stop? Ladies and gentlemen, turn down your volume. Turn the volume down immediately. She can't be stopped.
How many interviews has Letterman done that people remember 12 years later? Very, very few. Whereas Madonna's come on, sworn the house down, behaved appallingly, and she's remembered for it. Perfect.
We have to say goodbye now.
Why?
Because we have other guests.
Why?
Probably not anymore, but we should.
Can't this just go on and on?
Oh, it seems like it has, doesn't it?
Next up is a scandal that created a celebrity and also made every male cringe. Remember the Bobbits? At number 18, Lorena Bobbitt showed women everywhere the real way to win an argument when she severed more than just ties with her abusive husband, John.
She says she was acting on irresistible impulse when she severed his penis after he allegedly raped her the night of the knife attack.
When you picked up the knife, what happened?
I took the sheets off and I caught him.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Ouch. Yes, last time you messed with me.
Oh, when I think of Bobbitt, I reach for my loins immediately.
I can understand why most blokes get unhappy when they hear that story.
Don't want no short dick, man.
In shock, Lorena fled the house, unwittingly taking a grisly souvenir with her.
I remember I couldn't make a turn because I saw that I have it in my hand.
You were still holding his severed penis in your car.
Yes, and so I look at it, I scream and throw it out of the window.
But can you imagine lying in bed, chopping your husband's penis off, then getting in the car and going for a drive and going, oh, don't need this anymore. Out the window it goes.
You're the cop, you get the call out. We've lost a penis somewhere.
What you looking for? Oh, we're on a scavenger hunt. We're looking for John's penis.
He would have talked it up and said it was bigger than what it was, without question. So they would have gone, oh, it can't be it, it's too small.
And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
Doctors managed to put John Wayne Bobbitt together again. And to cash in on the public's fascination, he tried his, hand at being a porn star.
Well, I guess it's a novelty act, as long as they sewed it on the right way.
Never got to see Frankenpenis. Is it on video?
And it falls off in the film, I hear. That's right.
That ranks up there with the great comebacks of all time.
Now to another scandal and another body part, the toe. There's nothing sexy about toes, or is there? It would take more than a scandal to bring down the House of Windsor, and there have certainly been many. But frisky Fergie came close in 1992. While still married to Prince Andrew, Fergie and her financial advisor, John Bryan, were snapped in Saint-Tropez. The accountant was caught red-handed, fiddling the digits.
These are the photographs that Sarah Ferguson's financial advisor and the entire royal family hoped would never be published.
How stupid. As if you wouldn't know the paparazzi were hanging from every tree, peeping at you through every bush, with the curtains drawn. Go for broke. But out by the pool? Hello.
I mean, the fact that she was still married to Prince Andrew, I think, was the real point because, you know, she was seen with another man, but the whole toe-sucking thing is just grotesque. It's revolting.
Probably not the sort of thing a duchess should be caught doing.
I think she's a bit stupid, really. I really think she should be more careful because she should have known the press would be out to get her.
Photographers want to behave like that. That's what their job is, that's their job. Next time I will just have 15 Rottweilers wherever I go.
A right royal scandal followed and her marriage ended soon after.
The prince has never wanted the separation. Now it seems certain to be formalised and hurried through.
Meanwhile, John Bryan hot-footed his way out of there.
Are you going to join the Duchess now?
No, thanks. Please, quickly, driver. Please just go.
I thought the toe-sucking thing was stupid. I mean, who really does that? It's not really an I love you as much as it's a dare. It's not I love you, it's I love you this much. Watch, I'll suck your toe.
Have you ever had your toe sucked? It's quite nice. And I think all power to you. Pity you got caught.
I've heard of kneeling in front of royalty, but surely that's taking it too far. Still to come on 20 to 1.
Something was a bit fishy, wasn't it, about that?
Obviously very distressing for everyone.
Put your rod away, would you, son?
What do we expect?
You idiot. I sat there with my mouth open.
Is your world spiralling out of control? Drama Wednesday. Her ex-lover.
It's more than just a kiss, Stevie.
Her daughter.
Everyone wants to meet you.
And her worst nightmare.
I want to find out if you're as good as your mum.
The cops are on their way.
What happens next? Your Lexus dealer today.
When your kids just want to have fun, you just want them to be protected. With Nivea Sun Children's Coloured Sunspray SPF 30+, you can relax and know they're cared for. Nivea Sun, where protection meets care.
John bought a cheeseburger, medium Coke and medium fries. Then he chose his strawberry sundae instead of the apple pie. Normally it's over $6, but it only cost him $5. Now since he dumped his cheating girlfriend, has John been so satisfied? Tra-la-la-la-la.
The new $5 feed. It's going for a song at McDonald's.
Welcome back to 20 to 1 with the celebrity scandals that sell the tabloids.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Fishing guru and AFL commentator Rex Hunt has admitted to paying for sex with 3 women, but he denies they were prostitutes.
At number 16, Melbourne radio reeled in a whopper when Rex Hunt went on air with his wife and admitted he'd been kissing more than just fish.
Ashamed, guilty, that I've let the most beautiful person in my life down. There's no excuse.
Rex had been getting his tackle out for 10 years without his wife's knowledge. But when a newspaper found the hook, Rex went public before they could reel him in.
They wanted the money, and for selfish reasons, I wanted the sex.
For somebody who's such a good communicator, I can't believe how badly Rex expressed himself.
I'm paying money. The girl's happy. She's got no money. I got my rocks off. Oh, how good is this? Everything's fine until you get found out.
Rex, mate, put your rod away, would you, son? Fair income. Now, I've read a few stories in my life. I sat there with my mouth open.
I want my wife to forgive me, and I just want us to get back to when we were kids, so in love, before I was who I am. It's come at a cost. I stuffed up.
But Lynn decided not to throw Rex back.
I've chosen to stay, and he's not all bad.
To go into a radio station and be as open and as honest with his wife sitting next to him was a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot surprising for me.
If I was caught out doing that, I can tell you what, I wouldn't have the cameras in my living room and I wouldn't go on the radio station. I'd just sort of basically hide under the bed and wait till it all hopefully would go away.
Some of us make mistakes. No excuses for reasons. And I thank you.
Patrick McDermott went missing from a charter boat.
It's a case that's mystified investigators.
A 48-year-old cameraman was reported missing by a former wife.
Where'd you go?
At number 15, Olivia Newton-John's partner goes fishing and doesn't come back. Will we ever get to the bottom of the mysterious disappearance of Patrick McDermott?
People might wonder why I haven't said more than I've said, but the truth is that it's an incredibly private thing and an incredibly devastating thing. And if there was something to say, we would say it, but there isn't.
Well, for a man to go on a fishing trip overnight, lovely idea. Then suddenly not to appear the next morning, something was a bit fishy, wasn't it, about that?
Whenever I hear about a husband or boyfriend vanishing without a trace, I always assume they did it on purpose. Believe me, if my wife ever calls you up and say, Danny's been missing, he was out on a fishing boat, I'm with two hot Tahitian babes with an umbrella drink.
Tahiti sounds nice, but it was in Mexico the witnesses claimed to have spotted him.
This is the guy.
It was definitely the man in the photograph.
There are also new claims today that the fishing boat from which McDermott vanished made a previously undisclosed stop for fuel that may have allowed him to jump ship.
And all of a sudden, you know, they've realised, oh, that's right, we stopped for fuel. I mean, get real.
The father of one was in financial trouble, so far behind in his child support payments, he was reportedly facing prison time.
Olivia, there's been a whole lot of media speculation and media frenzy surrounding supposed sightings of Patrick south of the border. What's been your reaction to these reports?
Well, that's exactly what they are, I believe. Media frenzy. It's obviously very distressing for everyone in the family, and we just miss him and love him, and we'd be thrilled if it was true.
Only a few months before his disappearance, Patrick recorded this message to Olivia on This Is Your Life.
I love you with all my heart. Enjoy this evening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
It'd be a horrible situation to be in with someone that you love, but there's always a good conspiracy theory with things that are a little bit mysterious circumstances, and this is one that will continue until, I guess, we get to the bottom of it.
Finally, the moment they'd been waiting for. Resplendent in a white suit and straw boater, Elton John was the first to arrive with his 3 groomsmen.
At number 14, he once sang Don't Go Breaking My Heart. But that's exactly what Elton John did when he married sound engineer Renata Blauell in Australia in 1984. His decision to marry remains the biggest mystery since the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, I mean, we all knew he was gay. What's he getting married for? What's that all about? What, does she need a visa?
I think he just likes a wedding.
Oh, well, good luck to both of them, you know. It's all done in the guise of more publicity, I guess. I mean, there's records to sell and things like that. It's what people do, you know.
It's quite amazing, isn't it, that he actually was able to pull it off, so to speak.
The news of the wedding was totally unexpected, although apparently the two had known each other for the past 18 months.
The wedding of the decade took place on Valentine's Day in Sydney, just 4 days after Elton proposed.
Don't think anyone's surprised it didn't really last, will they? Will they that surprised? Will we go, no, that's a match made in heaven.
The marriage lasted 4 years before Elton finally admitted to himself he was gay.
I know a lot of boys who've married women and then decided that that wasn't right for them and then moved on and married men. That's life.
Maybe I think he was just having a go. He's a man of many hats. He's a man of many sunglasses. He's a man of many bifocals. I think it was just another hat he was trying on. He thought, why not?
While the divorce was reported to be amicable, Renata no longer speaks to Elton.
We don't really see each other and communicate, and I think that's the way she wants it, and I understand that. But I'm an optimist, and I feel one day that I can make my apologies and we can be friends. I have to say that she's one of the best people I've ever met in my life, and I don't have one negative thing to say about her.
I got married once too, and everybody was surprised about that. But I think everybody's allowed to have one marital mistake before they find true love. And Elton has now found true love with David Furnish and married, made an honest man of him, and there you are. So in the end, love conquers all.
Can't help loving that man.
Now to number 13, and it's unlucky for anyone who ever meets him. It's deranged dad Damir Dokic. Jelena Dokic was a talented tennis player with a bright future, while Mad Dad Demir's constant dummy spits copped a huge serve in the press.
You idiot! If he hadn't have been around, I think she could have been one of our greatest women tennis players, but dogged all the time by this absolute loop.
Many people in Australia say you are the problem.
No, I just want to protect her.
It all began in 2000. Believing officials had rigged the Australian Open draw, Demir announced that Jelena would no longer play for Australia.
We know what is Australia culture. This is discrimination country. Australia people is racist, fascist.
I mean, there's that rumour that when she lost at Wimbledon one year, that he ended up just taking off, and she slept the night in the dressing room in Wimbledon, too afraid to come out. I mean...
Demir's bizarre behaviour didn't end there. Take Your Father to Work Day took a turn for the worst at Wimbledon when he was thrown out for attacking a reporter.
If you touch me, I'm like tiger. If you don't touch me, I'm like small lamb.
And if you're wondering what's that got to do with the price of fish, Demir was removed from the US Open just 2 months later for taking violent exception to the cost of a salmon platter.
You leave or you're under arrest. Take your choice. Listen to me.
By God, he almost did the all but impossible to achieve the Grand Slam, to be kicked out of every decent tennis tournament in the Western civilization, all in the 1 year.
Jelena eventually dumped her dad as coach and returned to representing Australia. Demir's response shows why he's seeded world #1 nutcase in tennis.
He was reported in a Serbian newspaper threatening murder, revenge, and to drop a nuclear bomb on Sydney.
I really feel for Jelena. You know, she's trying to get her career back, but she's really lost the best years of her life to a parent that obviously wanted to change his lifestyle through his daughter's success and the money that came with that.
Oh, we're right behind you.
Still to come on 20-1.
I have sinned. Hey, who hasn't been to a couple of hookers?
I've never said anything about the girl in my entire life.
We know who the bitch is here.
I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I love you.
Get him in a cage. She's not the first supermodel in the world to try cocaine, and she certainly won't be the last.
Did not surprise me one iota.
Tonight we count down the top 5 features of Optus 3G. And at number 4, photography.
Take a positive step.
On 9.
We don't know there was malpractice, much less a crime.
I want those doctors arrested!
It was his fault.
I'm sorry. One more word out of you and I'll padlock this entire hospital.
You know where you are, right?
Area 51.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Gets better, though.
Do I look like the kind of guy who beat up on an 8-year-old kid? No!
But I need to know why you think your son was murdered.
CSI and all new The Closer, tonight from 8:35.
Welcome back to 20-1, where we're counting down celebrity sins and sorrows. And if you can't believe what you've seen so far, here's another look. At number 20, Anna Nicole went from in-law to outlaw. At 19, some blue material from the Material Girl. At 18, the Bobbitts need some marriage counselling. At 17, Fergie's feet were made for sucking. At 16, Rex Hunt takes one in the kisser. At 15, did Libby's partner go AWOL? At 14, Elton and Renata were happy and gay. And at number 13, Demir Dokic bid for Father of the Year goes south. At number 12, it's the running feud that kept going and going and going. Bringing back the Biff, it's Tamsin Lewis and Yana Pittman. Their rivalry got off track when Tamsin accused Yana of being a drama queen, and Yana wrote off Tamsin as a bikini babe.
Meow.
She said that she was more interested in being a champion athlete than a bikini babe, and you know what, so am I.
I never called her a bikini babe. She said that. I've never said anything about no competition. In fact, I've never said anything about the girl in my entire life.
It's only natural that there's going to be clashes along the way, you know? I guess the difference with those girls was they fought their differences out via the media.
The feud continued when Tamsin commented after the Commonwealth Games trials on radio.
I had a massive smile on my face when I did beat her on Friday night because there was so much pressure going into the race, obviously, with the cat fight and the bitch fight and whatever else was being said. And then after the heat, she came out and said that there was no competition. So I was standing behind the blocks going, I'll give you no competition, bitch.
I think the whole Tams and Yana feud was something that was blown way out of proportion by probably the media initially, who loved the idea of a cat fight between two pretty good-looking girls.
I was obviously happy to have made the team, and Yana was obviously very shocked and disappointed with her performance. When you run 52 seconds, you don't go and knock someone who would have beaten you by 20 metres if you had to run a good race.
I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I love you.
One's a good athlete, one's a good sort. I'm not even going to offer clues as to which is which.
If I thought that when I was a kid that I was going to get up in the morning and have to hear awful things said about me, I can't see me wanting to be involved in a sport like that.
Get him in a cage. Let it go.
I reckon I'd back Pittman. I reckon she's got an extra little bit of nastiness in her.
They should pass, instead of battens, saucers of milk. Here you go, Tams. Thanks, Jan.
When they won their gold medal in the relay together, everyone was waiting to see what would happen. Tamsin went up, and Yana just gave her fresh air. And at that point, we went, yeah, we know who the bench is here.
Who's got the medals? Is what I would say.
At number 11, it's the skinny-on Kate Moss and her far-from-model behaviour.
She's not the first supermodel in the world to try a little bit of cocaine, and she certainly won't be the last.
Well, what's the Robin Williams line? Cocaine, God's way of telling you you've got too much money.
Kate Moss went from the catwalk to the doghouse when her face was splashed across the London tabloids after a camera phone snapped her and boyfriend Pete Doherty doing lines. And I don't mean the drawing kind.
Kate Moss snorting cocaine is no scandal. What did you expect a waif model to do? Show me her eating a big sandwich, then I'll be surprised.
The drug controversy saw the model lose several of her high-profile campaigns, including her lucrative contract with fashion label H&M.
H&M cannot be seen to be glamorising Class A drugs.
The supermodel's supporters said she was not to be sniffed at.
Every time I've met her, she's been really lovely to me. And I think people should just get off her back because she's done nothing wrong.
She hasn't killed anybody. She's a human being, and I think it's really like a vendetta.
But the police said she may have to wear it.
If we have an allegation which is so visible to the public with a person who is such a role model, then it seems to me only appropriate the police service would investigate that.
Under pressure, Kate made a public apology.
She said, I take full responsibility for my actions. I also accept there are various personal issues I need to address and have started taking the difficult yet necessary steps to resolve them.
But in the end, the drug scandal only put her career on a new high, increasing her pay packet along the way.
They want you. We're back on top, hon. Don't call it a comeback.
Her career has just soared ever since. You know, you equate Kate Moss and bad behaviour, and that only sort of adds to her sort of credibility and certainly her value.
I like the way you move.
Our next scandal involves a respected man of the cloth. The scandal is that the cloth turned out to be a bed sheet. TV evangelism brings millions of Americans closer to God. But the Reverend Jimmy Swaggart proved that the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
When you make the wrong choice, you fall.
But the Reverend fell from grace when he was caught out and forced to confess to an affair with a prostitute.
Television preacher Jimmy Swaggart met today with church officials in Louisiana a day after tearfully confessing what he called his sins.
Just help yourself to my lips.
Who hasn't been to a couple of hookers? At least he cried and said, I have sinned against you, my Lord.
I have sinned against you, my Lord. And I would ask that your precious blood would wash and cleanse every stain.
What made Swaggart's admission so scandalous, apart from the obvious, was his holier-than-thou attack on rival Jim Baker for similar adulterous behaviour.
Reverend Jimmy Swaggart. had the nerve, I think, to call the Reverend Jimmy Baker a cancer on the body of Christ. Well, what a hypocrite he is, because just a few weeks later, he was caught red-handed leaving a brothel.
Jim Baker's response was suitably biblical.
Ye without sin cast the first stone.
I see girls. Poor old Jimmy, his head said no, his heart said yes, so he brought in another part of the body to cast a deciding vote.
You know what bothers me is much like Clinton in that regard, is his lack of common sense. These were street hookers. Can you go to the yellow pages and under discreet whore and dial a number? 1-800-DISCREET whore?
He asked me if he could play with me while he played with himself for $10.
For $10?
Right.
It's a nation that lives under the gun and really puritanical religious values. So things are going to go wrong in that situation.
When you see those people on television, you know it's an act. Give me a break, that's what they're doing. And the fact that he had another life and haunted dark lanes and whatever looking for cheap thrills did not surprise me one iota.
I have sinned against you.
Jimmy's tearful attempts to win back his congregation failed. And 3 years later, he was back to his old tricks, caught with yet another working girl. Up next on 20 to 1.
This was a story that had everything.
She was the biggest bitch in sport.
She was sick of coming second.
She cannot handle the fame.
It's not natural. I would have put on a paddle pop lion suit to get out of there.
The battle's just begun. Thursday, 8:30.
I can't even look at you people. It's embarrassing to see you.
The world's most important issues answered once and for all.
They're big.
Welcome back to 20 to 1, where we're counting down 20 scandalous celebrities. And at number 9, it's the little-known fashion model whose time in the limelight was for all the wrong reasons. Michelle Leslie's pleasure trip to Bali turned into a holiday from hell when police found 2 ecstasy tablets in her handbag.
Fashion model Michelle Leslie was arrested during a police sting at a dance party.
Police are going hard on Leslie. They are recommending 2 charges. One carries a maximum 15 years jail.
By God, I think the figures will show you that something like 500,000 Australians have done that very thing this year, and they weren't just in their purse.
He opened my bag and pulled out a tissue and opened it. And then I was like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on?
We judge things from our perspective, and you can understand why Indonesian authorities might think, hey, come on, this is our law. You need to be respecting the laws of our country.
In a bizarre bid to curry favour with the Indonesian prosecution, Michelle declared that she'd converted to Islam, sparking criticism in Australia when she began wearing the traditional Muslim burqa.
Interesting, I think that the burqa became a bigger controversy than the actual drugs.
I guess if you're in the same situation, you two would go to the same lengths to get yourself out of there. The fact that she dressed a lot more conservatively than she obviously is as a model probably helped her. Chappelle Corby is still there.
If she actually had have lent the burqa she was wearing to Renee Lawrence, maybe Renee would be out as well.
What would you be doing in a burqa when there's a photograph of you on a motorbike with a backside and a body like that?
From the day of my arrest until the day I was released, I really believed I would spend the next 15 years of my life rotting in an Indonesian prison.
If I had been Michelle Leslie, I would have put on a paddle pop lion suit to get out of there.
I am Muslim and I do understand the significance of wearing the burqa. I should have thought more carefully about wearing it in that situation, and I apologise for any offence I have caused. Take me home.
I can't really say my heart goes out to her for that. She did do the wrong thing, and I think that for Michelle the damage is done.
Now, what do you get when you put together intense rivalry, envy, and violent assault? Figure skating, of course.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
At number 8, it's Tonya Harding. The figure skater who figured the best way to make the US Olympic team was to take out her competition just 1 month out from the games.
That's what sport's all about, isn't it? Hey? Smashing your opponent with a baseball bat before selection trials and then getting in the side yourself. Terrific stuff.
The skating world was kind of knocked sideways because you never heard of that kind of stuff.
They were fighting for a place in the Olympics, and Nancy Kerrigan is the beautiful, talented, charming Snow White, really, of American sport. And Tonya Harding is really, well, a bit of a scrubber.
I mean, she was the biggest bitch in sport, wasn't she?
Her mother believed she didn't do it.
She would never do that, not to a competitor.
Harding later admitted that she and her ex-husband were involved in the scheme to injure Nancy Kerrigan.
The defendant will plead guilty to conspiracy to commit hindering prosecution.
I'd just like to say that I'm really sorry that I interfered.
Sort of imagine that she'd grown up in a caravan and this was her big shot at Olympic gold and everything that comes with that.
Yes.
So this was a story that had everything and gratuitous violence.
Do you really want to let me? I turned around and when I was turning I saw just someone was running by me and he just like whacked me with this long black stick.
Obviously, Tonya got to the stage where she was sick of coming second to Nancy Kerrigan.
You could have just blunted her skates or something. You know, you don't have to bust the girl's knee, put a bit of blue tack on her blades or something.
You know, competition does funny things to people, particularly ice skating, the glare from the sequins and having to listen to Wind Beneath My Wings over and over again. It's not natural.
I'm not answering your questions, I said. Leave me alone for right now.
She's still a scrubber and I thank her for that.
Happens on TV too. Ed Phillips got me in the car park. Jealousy's a curse. Up next is Ms. Britney Spears, who can be best summed up in 5 simple words. Oops, I did it again. At number 7, she was the pin-up pop princess who every young girl aspired to be like.
I just wanted my song to be on the radio. Seriously, I just wanted my friends to hear it and be like, see, that's me.
So what has happened to Britney Spears?
From one of the most successful pop artists of all time, how sad that this girl's turned into a trailer trash baby machine. And I mean trailer trash with 2 capital T's.
Pop singer Britney Spears has just been married in a Las Vegas wedding chapel. The 22-year-old was reportedly given away by a hotel bellman and was said to be wearing jeans and a baseball cap.
New hubby was childhood friend Jason Alexander, until Mummy Spears stepped in 55 hours later and annulled the marriage.
Who has ever had their mum step in and annul their marriage? How embarrassing. I'm sorry, I can't be married to you anymore. My mum said no.
And after partying, you know, you really don't think about what you're doing. So it was one of those things that were really silly.
It took only 8 months for Britney to find the next love of her life, marrying dancer Kevin Federline. But 55 hours later, it was still going strong.
Britney Spears is like the lotto winner to me. She cannot handle the fame. You know, have you seen the pictures of babies sort of slapped in the back of the car one minute and she's got a cigarette in her hand the next and she's pregnant and drinking? Oh, God.
The pop star was exiting a New York hotel, a drink in one hand, her young son in the other. Then she stumbles, very nearly dropping 8-month-old Sean Preston.
Someone should tell her to get a pram. You know those things with wheels and you put the baby in there and you push it?
Britney didn't let her drink slip, but she had a looser grip on motherhood.
This is why I need a gun, she said.
The lights mustn't be very bright up there. To actually have a kid of that age driving in a car without a seatbelt, that's just dumb.
No, Britney, you should actually put the seatbelt on the baby.
This constant public scrutiny proved too much for the starlet.
We just need privacy and we need our respect.
This is someone who actively pursued fame. She wanted it really badly. Well, she got it, and now she has to cop what the negatives are of that position. The fact that she is the epitome of pure white trash. She only has herself to blame.
More scandalous celebrities coming up on 20 to 1.
No, Doris, no!
They would have to have had sex.
Nobody thought
this would last.
I don't think any of those marriages were made in heaven.
I just can't imagine going there.
We are in danger of being swamped by Asians.
It's an absolute disgrace.
She only just stood up and said what she felt.
Phew, it knocked me for a loop.
This news update brought to you by Hester, an industry super fund making a lifetime of difference. Welcome back to 20-1 Celebrity Scandals. Now, there's an old saying that any publicity is good publicity. Well, just ask Michael Jackson if he agrees. At number 6, Michael Jackson has had more scandals than he's had sleepovers. Beginning with the King of Pop's marriage to Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of the King of Rock and Roll, which made him the son-in-law of rock and roll.
The Lisa Marie Presley one gets me. That's when I realised, nah.
And just think, nobody thought this would last.
They would have to have had sex, wouldn't they?
I'm not going to marry somebody for any reason other than the fact that I fall in love with them, period.
But yeah, it was funny when Lisa Marie came out and said that they had a marriage in every way. You only assume that meant sexually. I just can't imagine going there at all.
Jackson's second marriage wasn't any more successful than the first, nor was it any less controversial. Debbie Rowe was a nurse who gave Wacko 2 children before Michael told her to beat it.
He was probably spending more time with her than anybody else, given the amount of time he's clearly spent at the plastic surgeon's office.
I don't know if he's gay, I don't know if he's straight, I don't know if he's asexual, but I don't think any of those marriages were made in heaven.
But the most damaging scandal came from a friendship Jackson had with a 13-year-old boy.
He said that he had stayed overnight at Jackson's home many times and had slept in his bedroom.
There was one night I stood in his yard, I asked him if I could stay in his bedroom, and then he said, okay, if you love me, you sleep on a bed.
The teenager later accused Jackson of molesting him. The resulting trial was a media circus, and the showman certainly didn't disappoint.
It's pretty full-on what was claimed with Wacko, but then again, if it happened, it's pretty sick.
I honestly believe that he doesn't sleep with boys. I honestly believe that he just hasn't grown up.
The way he acts is definitely not normal. Either the skin change, the face change, the children, everything that goes with it. Obviously someone with a very messed up persona.
Rock Hudson was the Brad Pitt of the 50s and 60s, every woman's idea of the perfect man. Only problem, he was gay.
Will you remember me?
Yes. Oh, I must admit, I never ever picked him as being gay.
Rock Hudson, I thought, gee whiz, phew, it knocked me for a loop.
Why can't a real man who appeals to women be gay as well? Why not?
Well, for those in the know in Hollywood, they knew that Rock was gay. But it did come as a huge shock to particularly the female fans around the world.
For a while there, after I found that out, I was watching all these old Doris Day movies with Rock Hudson, and I'm yelling at the television, no, Doris, no, he's not like that.
To hide his sexuality, studio bosses encouraged his pin-up playboy image and his 3-year marriage to secretary Phyllis Gates.
He couldn't have been who he was if he'd admitted that he was gay any earlier, so he did what he had to do.
At age 59, a frail Rock Hudson made his last public appearance with Doris Day, sparking speculation about his health. Hounded by the press, a publicist finally admitted that Rock had contracted AIDS.
Mr. Rock Hudson has acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which was diagnosed over a year ago in the United States.
In the darkness before dawn, an Air France jumbo jet arrived in Los Angeles, bringing Rock Hudson home for what may be the last time.
Sadly, the man who was once known for being a screen legend had now become the face of this terrible disease.
The sad thing was that when he died, it became the subject of such scandal and whatever, and he avoided all that. He lived a very quiet life.
The only real picture I have of the terror of AIDS is Rock Hudson. When you watch Rock Hudson deteriorate, you think, okay, this is not only a killer, this is a killer with extreme malice. Unforgettable.
My shopping trolley murdered. My groceries just gone. I don't like it. No.
Locked up at number 4 is Pauline Hanson, Australia's most notorious political prisoner.
Are you xenophobic? Please explain.
I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians.
Our men and women have split blood.
I'm not there to keep the bastards honest. I'm there to get rid of the bastards.
I think there's no doubt that Pauline Hanson changed the political landscape in Australia from the very first moment.
She only just stood up and said what she felt, and I think it's quite sad that she was so victimised for that.
This is my land, and I was born here. I belong here as much as what you do.
Pauline Hanson is one of those strange people that that you've got to love about Australia. They come from nowhere and they burn brightly, and then everyone gets embarrassed and makes them go away.
And disappear she did. The One Nation leader was sentenced to 3 years in jail on charges of electoral fraud. Maybe she just wasn't good with figures and needed someone to please explain.
It is a blatant attempt to get rid of me prior to the election. I am not thrown in the towel. I will fight this.
Jail is for people who need to be removed from society because they're a menace to society, and I don't think she was a menace. I think she was victimised into jail.
They throw her in jail for what? I mean, that's just got to be the biggest railroad job of all time.
The allegation that political pressure is behind the charges produced angry denials.
I have not exerted any political pressure of any kind. Any kind.
For her to spend 3 months in jail and then have the conviction squashed, it's an absolute disgrace, you know.
After 11 weeks, Pauline Hanson and One Nation co-founder David Ettridge were free as birds.
I said the truth will set us free.
After the break, we reveal our top 3 celebrity scandals.
On a current affair sold, Australia's real estate raiders. Find out how battlers on average incomes bought 18 homes in next on Channel 9.
This program brought to you by Optus. Life simpler with Optus 3G.
Yeah.
Welcome back to 20 to 1 as we reach our top 3 celebrity scandals. At number 3, it's the love affair of an older man and a younger woman. That's not so unusual, but this affair rocked Hollywood. Filmmaker Woody Allen was keeping it well and truly in the family when he commenced an affair with the much younger S3E08 Previn. She was the adopted daughter of his long-term partner, Mia Farrow.
We are family. Woody, in a city of 10, 12 million people, look further afield, mate. Don't keep it in the family.
There's nothing right about that. That makes me want to projectile vomit.
62-year-old Woody Allen and S3E08 Previn, 35 years his junior. The couple who, in the eyes of many, were once father and daughter, are now man and wife.
She wasn't legally his adopted daughter. It's all a bit creepy and spooky the way it all happened. But, you know, there's certainly nothing illegal about it.
Poor Mia Farrow, the way she found out is finding naked pictures of her own daughter, because that's a shock. You look at this pictures of your kid naked, and then the double whammy of, oh, by the way, they were taken by Dad.
There was nothing funny about the comedian's scandal, but the biggest blow was yet to come when Mia accused Woody of molesting their 7-year-old adopted daughter.
There has been an attempt to link my relationship with S3E08 with charges of child molestation. They're 2 completely different things.
The public slanging match didn't end there. Woody then claimed Mia was an unfit mother.
And I want to get the children free of that atmosphere.
I just want to say that that I will always stand by my children.
I don't want to know about his personal life at all because that is a little bit sick and twisted. That side is a little bit wrong. I'll just enjoy the movies.
At number 2, a phone sex scandal that crossed a line and rocked the foundations of Windsor Castle.
An Australian magazine has published a full transcript of what it says is a tape recording of an alleged conversation between the Prince of Wales and his friend, Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles. It contains some very explicit conversation.
What are you going to turn into a pair of knickers? I think you're going to come back as a pair of knickers. God forbid a 10-pack.
When a man thinks it's sexy to want to be reincarnated as a feminine hygiene product, now that's a headline the whole world's got to see.
I don't reckon that did him any favours, to be honest, Charles. What was he thinking?
They're in the royal family, for God's sake. They ought to know. They can't be saying stuff like that over the phone.
Yes, it's an extraordinary thing for a man to say to a woman.
God forbid a 10-pack.
As a term of endearment, I must say.
I don't want to know that. I have no interest. Did I read it? Yes. But I have no interest. No interest. Really don't.
OK, it was hot and heavy, but they were hot and heavy, and it was disgraceful that their private phone conversation was out there for everybody to hear.
Although it was believed to be the voices of Charles and his Camilla, the tapes were never actually verified.
Most people think that it is true, and it's just kind of, I don't know, very embarrassing for him.
People's conversation shouldn't be taped. I just think it's disgraceful that people don't have any privacy.
He's entitled to his privacy, but God, I'm glad someone taped that. I'm glad we got to know about it.
Now to our number 1. It's a story with more twists than any Hollywood movie. A star athlete, a double murder, a classic whodunit. It's the man in the white Bronco and the ill-fitting gloves, O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson was one of the most famous running backs in American football history. But in 1994, the national hero instantly became the number 1 suspect in the brutal murder of his ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ronald Goldman.
The bodies of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman were discovered about midnight Sunday on the steps outside the condominium where Mrs. Simpson lived.
Did he do it or did he not do it? Who knows?
I will give $1 million to anybody who can actually come to me and prove to me that he is innocent.
One of the reasons why the O.J. Simpson story, I think, blew up in the first place was largely because of that unbelievable live car chase through the LA freeways.
Back off. He's still alive, but he got a gun to his head.
I'll never forget the weird footage of him just driving down the freeway in his white Bronco with just miles of police cars with their sirens on behind him, and he's just like...
Through the interchange, continuing northbound on the 405.
Everyone was just glued to the screen thinking, what on earth is happening? What on earth is going on?
Look, it just became such a media circus that I don't think you were ever going to get a real trial.
A bloody glove found at the murder scene became the focal point of the trial. It matched an identical glove found at Simpson's home. To prove it wasn't his, O.J. tried it on for size.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
That whole thing about if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Everyone knew that was a lame way for a national hero to get away with murder.
After 9 long months of testimony, the jury's verdict was announced live across America.
Not guilty of a crime of murder.
Now a free man, O.J. pledged in this statement read by his son to find the true murderer.
I will pursue, as my primary goal in life, the killer or killers who slaughtered Nicole and Mr. Goldman.
He's going to dedicate the rest of his life to finding the killer. O.J., take a look in the mirror.
I want to meet his lawyer because if ever I get into trouble, I want him because that was a miracle.
Any old time.
As they say, if the glove fits, wear it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this dip into the murky waters of celebrity scandals, and that's all we have time for tonight. Next week on 20 to 1, World's Best Love Songs.
Such a powerful, powerful song.
From modern ballads.
It's obviously written by someone who's never been laid in their life.
That's the real reason that women should keep men waiting for sex.
To timeless classics.
Forever. Going to be one of the great love songs.
Beautiful song. I love it.
We've got hopeless romantics.
Yes, it made me cry just about every time it came on.
It's too much song.
And the sounds of seduction.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's enough to get any girl going.
It gets me a bit excited. Excited in my pants, those ones. Next,